Okay, but I'm trying to get this straight for Thanksgiving. Let me get this straight. We drove 4 hours.
Yeah.
And we don't have any food but pie filling.
That's it.
Get up. It's time for a night with New. They done stole my car. God damn. Hey boy, like, what's going on with you? Like, still know I'm new. With her fingers deep off in her jeans. We had to yank my wig off and threw it across the room, y'all. I need your help. Stop all that running. Like, yeah, you on the rest, y'all. Like, pick the fellas up. So, like a dog, I let him drive my car. God damn. It was tearing me up in front of my homegirl. I know that right. Hey everybody, it's your favorite new girl Noella, and you are watching another episode of Nights with New Podcast, where it'll be all right by the end of the night. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone. I personally do not celebrate Thanksgiving, but if you do, enjoy yourself, enjoy your family and your loved ones. If you know that being around your family is going to put you in a traumatic situation or a hostile environment and stuff, though, y'all stay away from them. You don't have to go over there. Find community with yourself and spend time with the people that you genuinely care about, and they care about you in the same way. Don't let anyone bully you into thinking that blood is thicker than water, and just because y'all are family or share the same bloodline that you have to deal with them. What's new? Went to go see Wicked for Good. I went to go see it last week. I'm not gonna lie to you, I really didn't like it. I do plan on going to see it again tomorrow. It was very anticlimactic in my opinion, but when I watched the first part of Wicked, I felt that same way. I thought that the best part of the movie was right at the end, and I'm like, dang, why would it be such a snooze fest this entire movie, and then all the hot stuff start happening towards the end? So I'm gonna go and rewatch it. I'm probably gonna go to the movie theater again tomorrow and watch it again, because, you know, I'm like that. I'm gonna eventually like the movie. I know I am. I have been listening to the soundtrack ever since I watched the movie. Since I'm talking about movies, let me briefly tell you about a movie that I watched yesterday. The name of the movie was called Soldier Girl. It was actually based on a true story. This guy that was in the military, he was an infantry soldier who lost his life due to basically a hate crime. One of the other members of the army murdered him for being in a relationship with a trans woman. Calpurnia Adams, that was the girl, and Barry Winchell. Barry Winchell was murdered by Calvin Glover. There was also a co-conspirator of the situation. His name was Justin Fisher. Barry was bludgeoned to death. He was actually sleeping, and Calvin walked up to him while he was sleeping and hit him repeatedly across the head with a Louisville Slugger baseball bat. I kept trying to do research to try to find out like what happened with the sentencing of everything. Every article I read gave a different answer, so I hope that I'm not spreading misinformation. Mind you, this happened years and years ago. This happened in, I want to say 1999. Calvin was sentenced to life in prison, but I believe he is now out. Justin was sentenced to, I want to say like 12 or 13 years, and he got out after like 6 years. Calvin basically said that he really didn't have any intentions on killing Barry. He was just drunk, and Justin basically persuaded him to do it because they had been like picking on him for months about, you know, gay allegations. And y'all go check out the movie Soldier Girl. It's on Tubi. That's where I watched it at. I actually was aware of Calpurnia Adams. Calpurnia had a dating show on TV one time where it was basically like a trans dating show. It was very similar to like the Flavor of Love style, like dating type shows. It was something like that. Of course, she was a trans woman, and then it was supposed to be men that were there, like they wanted to be with her. I never watched that show till its completion, but I do remember like that was my first time ever hearing of Calpurnia. Since we're still talking about hate crimes against LGBT, this actually happened back in like 2016 in Atlanta, believe it or not. So this is about Martin Blackwell. He was dating this lady named Lisa Fisher. She had a gay son. He only dated for a couple of months, y'all. He drove trucks. He was barely in town. This particular time he was in town, he came to the house. He saw Miss Fisher's son laying on the couch with his boyfriend. They were actually sleeping. The son's name was Anthony and his boyfriend's name was Marquez. They were sleeping. He saw them laying on the couch together. This man walks in the kitchen, boils a pot of water. After the pot of water is boiling, he goes and pours it on those two sleeping guys. They both had to go through multiple surgeries, physically disfigured, Also, Anthony actually had to get put into a medically induced coma. It was just so bad. He got sentenced to 40 years, 10 different counts of various assaults, 8 counts of aggravated battery, and then 2 counts of aggravated assault. Georgia is one of the states that does not have hate crime statutes. So if there was a hate crime statute in the state of Georgia, he probably would have got a much harsher sentence. For everybody that thinks that Georgia is like extremely progressive, it's really not. Kind of for Atlanta to the entire state of Georgia, Atlanta is just one small place. This happened in College Park and he still didn't get hit with a hate crime. When he poured the boiling water on them, he was basically saying like, get that gay shit out my house. It's not your house. That's that boy's mama's house. You only been dating her for a month or so. And he also tried to justify his action, saying that it was disrespectful to him. I really don't like how straight people feel like it's disrespect. I've actually went through something like that with some members of my family as well. Like when it comes to my womanhood and stuff, they feel like it's me being disrespectful to them, that I want to be addressed the way that I am. It's a cold way of trying to flip the script on people. You did that because you're homophobic. Fast forward to something more recent. This happened in Florida. Girl, she was an online influencer who lost her life recently to her boyfriend. She was a victim of domestic violence. She is a trans woman. There's been a lot of discourse around how she identified and how she should be laid to rest. That's not what I'm going to talk about right now. What I will say to any of my LGBT brothers and sisters that are watching, wherever you fall in under that umbrella, I believe it's more safe to walk around assuming that you are in this alone. For more clarity, what I was trying to say was, being that you are a queer person or fall under the LGBTQIA umbrella, I believe it's safer to navigate throughout this world, believing that you do not have any type of allies in the straight or cisgender community. That's what I'm meaning. A lot of the time we try to find love and refuge and support from that community, and then they always end up showing us later on that they do not have our best interests at heart because they other us. Sometimes subconsciously there are people out here who are innately homophobic or transphobic, and they're not even attempting to, they're not really actively trying to be that way, but it's been embedded in us for generation to generation to generation. And so people have to go and unlearn ideologies beforehand. So I think it's safer to assume that everyone is transphobic. It's safer to assume that everyone is homophobic. It's safer to assume that everyone is even racist, and then just allow them to over time to prove themselves in a way. Far too many times, eventually, people are going to show you how they really feel about you. If you know that you have straight friends or biological friends and things like that, and you see or hear them say something about other members of the community, don't think that you are the exception to the rule. It's only a matter of time before it's your turn also. Whether that takes 10 minutes, 10 years, 10 months, people will eventually show their hand. I also feel like it's necessary for me to add that I am not telling you to hate straight people. I am not telling you to hate cisgender people. What I am saying is just be cautious. I know that death is something that we don't want to think about, but at the end of the day, it's something that we all have to go through. We're all going to die one day. But the sad truth and reality about being someone that's a member of the LGBT community, sometimes our lifespan statistically is much shorter than our straight counterparts. The different types of wills. You have a simple will, a testamentary trust will, living wills, and joint wills. A simple will is a basic will that outlines how you want your property to be distributed. It is often a good choice for those with less complex estate and family situations. A testamentary trust will, it creates a trust that takes effect upon your death to manage and distribute assets, which is particularly useful for providing for minor children or dependents with special needs. A living will is also known as an advanced healthcare directive. It's a document that specifies your wishes for your end-of-life medical care and is separate from a traditional will or asset distribution. A joint will is a single document that two people, usually a married couple, create together to specify how their shared assets will be distributed after both have passed away. And then you also have something called a statutory will. A statutory will is like a will when you don't have like the mental capacity to be able to speak for yourself. This is going to be more specified towards like my trans brothers and sisters. To be able to write a will as as a trans person. You should use your legal name and also clarify your chosen name if you have one. So, of course, your legal name is what's going to be on your birth certificate or what's on your ID or what's on your social security card or things of that nature. If you have documentation that proves your name is legally changed, that's your new legal name. If you haven't yet went through the proper channels to be able to do that legally, the name that you go by will be considered your chosen name or your preferred name. A will typically requires your current legal name. It'll be a statement like I, your legal name, but also known as, which will be your chosen name or your preferred name. Declare this to be my will, and any other aliases or previous name if helpful. Appoint an executor that you trust. So this is somebody that really accepts you for who you are. Y'all have already had long, extensive conversations about what to do. I have one person specific to me that if I was to leave before she would be the one that would be handling my passing. If you know that you have family or friends who really don't agree with your lifestyle, really don't look at you as the woman or the man that you are, and they misgender you or they dead name you from times, I would not recommend listing them as an executor. You need to write some type of note explaining why that person is your choice. You can do that and be extremely specific. This is going to be your will. Make sure that you be extremely explicit about your gender identity and your related wishes, especially if you feel like your biological family or will try to override your preferences or your wishes. This can include instructions about your name, pronouns that could be used in announcements, funerals, your obituary, how your body should be treated. That's talking about your hair, your clothing, how you wish to be presented. Also about your funeral or memorial services or preferences. Here is an example clause. It is my wish that I be referred to as, in my case, Nueva, using pronouns she, her, hers in all matters. This also includes, but is not limited to, my funeral as well as my obituary. Some people also put details in the will or a separate end of life letter or funeral plans. I came across a video a few months ago of an older lady who had already had her funeral services pre-planned out. One thing that she did, she already had her obituary made because she wanted to be in charge of what pictures and stuff and how she was going to be represented in her obituary. I thought that was an amazing idea, especially being a trans person. If you are nervous that you are going to be represented a different way and they're going to be showing pictures of you that you might not agree with, go on and get your obituary made yourself, and all that they have to do is go in and fill in the blanks whenever your time comes. Protect your partner or your chosen family if you're in a relationship with somebody or you have people that are not legally recognized. Example, you're not actually married, you have friends, or you have your chosen family. It could be house members, it could be your queer family, it could be lifelong friends. Explicitly put them in the will as well. Common additions would be leaving personal items to a partner or friend, giving your chosen family member the authority to handle your funeral, or making someone guardian over your pets, or even if you have children, because some of us have kids as well. Address items that's related to your transition. If relevant, you can add instructions about hormone supplies and medical devices, your gender affirming items, whether it's binders, prosthetics, tug straps, tapes, whatever the case. Digital or medical privacy. Specify who can access your medical records. Explicitly forbid disclosure of former names. That's a big one. This is how you want to be remembered. This is the legacy that you're trying to leave, and you do not want that to be tainted by someone who has some type of biases over who you are in general. Include your digital assets. Ensure that your online identity is handled properly. So this is going to be your social media accounts, your photo storage, your emails, also your subscription services. You can decide if the accounts should be memorialized, deleted, or handled to someone that's trusted. So in your will, you would also have those in there. Your accounts, the passwords, things of that nature, and then what you want them to be able to do with said account. After that, you should make it legally valid. The requirements, they vary by the region. Typically, validity needs to be, you have to be of sound mind. That's what I was speaking about, if it was a statutory will. Do this when you are still in your right mind and you have the ability to be able to think and speak for yourself. Written clearly, signed by you. You should have witnesses, usually 2 adults who are not beneficiaries. Most places like that allow that are notary republics, online wills, video wills, which is less common. I personally recommend going to get it notarized. Make sure that you store the will safely. Tell the executioner where the will is kept, whether it's a safe at home, your lawyer's office, a safety deposit box. If you do have something like a safety deposit box or like storage unit or anything like that, or even digital store, make sure that your executioner has the ability to access those things. I do recommend a digital footprint of your will as well as multiple paper copies all over the place. In my opinion, have one at home, have one at the lawyer's office, also have one in your safety deposit box. I feel like it's best to have it in multiple places. Consider other documents to be able to fully protect your wishes. Write an advanced healthcare directive, that's a living will. Medical power of attorney, also your HIPAA release, and your funeral directive. This ensures that your identity is respected if you become unable to communicate. Protect yourself. Become very apparent that we're all we got. Always navigate through this world like you all you got until someone shows you otherwise. We have been conditioned to feel like we are all other. We have to prove ourselves to straight people. No, we don't. They need to prove themselves to us. Do not be so freely willing to give your love to people and your time and your attention because of some void that you feel inside, because of how people have made you feel. Shift your focus, shift your thinking on that. Know that you are loved. You matter, you are valid, you are human, you are perfectly designed, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with you. Continue to walk in love, continue to walk in your truth, and be true in who you are, but go and handle your business and go get that paperwork. You want to make sure that you are able to be put away how you want to be. If you know that you want to have a really, really nice funeral service, get you a $50,000 life insurance policy. If you know that you don't mind a funeral, but you just want to be cremated, go on and get you a little $10,000 policy. Now it's time to be honest. Popular topic of discussion is geared around DL men and DL culture. So my question to you is, why do you believe that DL men exist? Who do you feel is to blame if you had to blame someone for the existence of DL men? I believe that DL culture is geared around shame, is geared around homophobia, and I do believe that it starts in the household first. Many people are made aware of their thoughts and desires early on in life, and they're either going to go one way or the other. They're going to be very outward about it. They can't really hide it, proud to be who they are, and they don't care what nobody says. They're going to live their life and they're going to be them. And then there's other people who have those same thoughts, desires, and feelings, and they hate it about themselves because they've been taught and conditioned to believe that something is wrong. Because of that, they end up like forming this facade. They end up forming this character of heteronormativity and things like that, and it becomes extremely toxic. I personally believe that DL men are born at home, like it starts at home. If you're hearing what I'm saying correctly, I'm not specifically blaming women. I'm also not specifically blaming men. I think everyone is to blame as a collective. We have to learn to realize that people are different, and just because someone lives or thinks or is attracted to a certain thing does not mean that something is wrong. We have to stop moving with the connotations that liking the same sex is wrong and things like that, because it's really not. There's no harm to the next person. A lot of us need to unlearn a lot of the negative rhetoric that we know about the topic and be able to relearn it in a different way and see things from a different lens. Okay, now it's time to hear what had happened. Once again, if you have a what had happened story, be sure to email me at nightswithnue@gmail.com. That's NIGHTSWITHNUE@gmail.com. And do me a favor and keep that email short, sweet, and to the point. 2 paragraphs is enough so that it could be featured on the next show. So I know the number one rule is to don't hook up with a DL guy. But this man surprised the shit out of me in the middle of the night, texting me, all I know is I have a crush on you and I need to take action. I went over immediately because he was T. It was everything, and I made him bust twice. He also told me he's not attracted to guys at all, but when he saw me, he knew he had to hit me up. He's so DL though, and in a frat. I don't care nothing about dating him, but I did have a good time. And it looks like he had a great time too. But after he was really nervous and panicking, and I told him that everything was okay and it's just between us. The next morning, I asked him if he had a good time and if he would do it again. He was very dry and said it was interesting. I don't know. I told him that if he's ever home again, he can hit me up. He said, okay, thank you. I don't know what to do with it. I've had this pit in my stomach ever since, and he hasn't been viewing my stories. I really want to see him again, but I can't text him back because I don't want to seem annoying. Any advice, please, on potentially his mindset and why he would say all those sweet things to me just to be dry? What's the reality of this situation? He wanted to fuck. He wanted to bounce on your back. He told you what you needed to hear. You took the bait. And obviously, you've already sensationalized the situation. You're claiming that you don't want to date him or nothing like that. But you obviously already have some grand ideas with him. Leave that man alone. That man wanted to experience you. That's his MO. You had to separate yourself from that. Trust me, I done been there. Because you saw him the next morning. That means he came, y'all jammed, and y'all spent the night with each other. That's spending the night sleeping over shit. That's a slippery slope. If you know that you want to just get your rocks off and kick that man out. Or you go to his house, get your rocks off and go home. Laying up, spending the night with each other, that's dangerous because it do put you in an emotional state. I guess I can say that I'm a hoe. I've been with multiple people, but I know for a fact that I wasn't necessarily promiscuous for real. Like I never moved with the intention on just messing around with multiple men. I was searching for love. I was searching for acceptance. I was searching for wanting. I was searching for admiration. I wanted to feel included. I wanted my womanhood to be validated. Every man that showed me some type of attention, I automatically would put them in this category, like, okay, well, the fact that he said he's saying she and her to me, and the fact that he's telling me I'm beautiful and I look like a woman, okay, he accepts me, obviously, and because he accepts me, this must mean that he's my man. Like, this must mean that this is the guy that I need to spend the rest of my life with. So I'm going to invest all these time and emotions into this guy because we're going to be together. Whole time, he just wants to bounce on my back. And I fell for that. And I fell for that a lot. I fell for that multiple times with a few men. Whatever insecurity that you have within yourself, a person can see that weakness and they will feed into that. There'll be everything you need them to be in more for that moment to be able to get what they need and what they want out of that situation. Going back to the whole DL situation, like even myself, I consider myself DL for a while, to a certain degree. And it was just because I was raised in the church, heavily indoctrinated. I heard the things that they said happened to gay people. I was always so worried about, oh, I feel this way, I'm going to go to hell, because that's what I was taught. And then I also hear it at home about people that they knew that were like that. It caused me to hate that about myself. It caused me to be ashamed of myself, and it caused me to try to be everything but that. And I fought for a few years, trying to fight and run from who I truly was and suppress my feelings. You can suppress something, but that doesn't mean that it's not there. If you continue to sweep dust and dirt up under a rug, yes, your surroundings is going to appear to be clean. That dust is still settled and compacted up under that rug. And eventually it's going to become foul and smelly, and you're going to be sick. If you have thoughts and desires, and that's your true nature, that's just who you genuinely are. There's no amount of praying, there's no Bible scripture, there's nothing that you can do that's going to save you from that. Even if someone makes you feel that way, that's who you truly are. And you don't have to seek help, because there's nothing wrong with you. But you are a woman and you're attracted to other women. Oh well, love yourself for it. And the people that don't love you or act like they can't love you because of it, separate yourself from them. If you are a man that enjoys the company of other men, same thing. If you are a man that enjoys trans women, same thing. If you are a woman that enjoys trans men or trans women, same thing. Live your life for you. Your life belongs to you. Nobody has a heaven or a hell to put you in. We're all figuring this shit out together. Don't let nobody bully you into not living your life authentically. At the end of the day, you're robbing yourself of happiness. But that's all I got for y'all. Happy holidays, everybody. Much love. Good night.
All we have is, let me say it one more time, because I'm about getting steamed. You mean we gained 4 hours and all we have is velvet and onions and a bag of pecans? No. Okay. Gobble, gobble, gobble.